Every new day, we get a chance to set the record straight, a clean slate, the opportunity to choose greatness and to stop making excuses. Motivation is cheap, discipline is difficult, but discipline gets results. Your mindset matters. My name is Myles Biggs, and this is Relish the Journey. Hey, what's up, everybody? And thanks for tuning in again to another segment of Mindset Matters within Relish the Journey. And recently I was getting to the end of the batch of these that I recorded because I do these short Monday ones, kind of 4 or 5 at a clip, and then schedule them out so I don't have to worry about it. That's how I keep my mindset on track. So I put it out on social for people to give me ideas. What did you want to hear? And what mindset topics? How can I help you? All right. So I got a bunch of answers, which was awesome. And so these next couple, I'm going to talk a little bit about the person that sent them to me and what their sort of topic was, what their response when I asked them for more details was, and then my thoughts on it, and give you some insight into other people's mindsets, what some other people, perhaps your peers, are thinking of, and then how my mindset, relates to the topic. So first up, we've got a guy named Colin Mason Whitfield. Shout out to Colin. I met him at one of the Stone State Studio socials a year or so ago. And he's since moved out to California, I believe, to pursue his photography and videography. And he just seems to be crushing it from what I see on social media. So shout out, Colin. Appreciate you listening. And kudos to you, man, for going after your dream. And that's the topic that Colin wanted me to talk about, was focusing on a dream. Specifically, what goals you need to set up in order to achieve it. And so this is a great topic because so often we get caught up in the pie in the sky dreams of what we wish we could be. And then we start to look at the actual steps it's going to require to get there and have an oh shit moment and question if it's really worth it. What comes to mind on this topic is a quote that I believe is from Tony Robbins, where he says that people overestimate what they can get done in a year, and they underestimate what they can get done in a decade. And I think that really fits in here when it comes to focusing on a dream and pursuing it, because focusing on that dream, that's a super pie in the sky distant moment. That's why we call it a dream, right? Colin didn't say goals here, right? Focusing on a goal. He said dream. And then he talked about the goals that you need to set up in order to achieve it. And this is where I feel like people fall down. They're chasing the dream, but they have no idea how they're going to get that dream because they're just dreaming while they're chasing. And that's akin to really a chicken running around with its head cut off, making a lot of noise, making a lot of activity. It's still going to die, right? No progress is being made. The head is cut off. But this idea of breaking it down to goals, that's where the true power is, okay? So anybody listening to this, if you are identifying with Colin's question, I urge you to go pick up the book, Atomic Habits. This book changed my life. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But Atomic Habits is a perfect book for anybody that is focusing on this topic in their life. So Atomic Habits breaks down this idea that Colin's talking about with goals. And really the key here, if you're chasing a dream, is you've got to do a little bit of project planning, project management of your own life, or hire someone to help you do it, right? Hire a life coach, quite literally, or accountability coach to help you do it, because sometimes it's hard to literally do what you know has to be done to your own life because there's some self-limiting aspects that come, and sometimes you need somebody to hold a mirror up to you and say, hey, idiot, stop doing this, just do this. And then you get to just execute that plan. And that can be very helpful for some people. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. What's truly wrong is not achieving that dream, right? So back to habits and goals. His specific question was what goals you need to set up in order to achieve your dream. Now, that's going to depend on the dream. But I think the important part is you've got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself that dream, is this dream 1 year in the future, 5 years in the future? Maybe it's 20 or 30 years in the future, right? Let's pick a hypothetical one. If your dream is to retire at 40, okay, and you're sitting here at 20, that dream's 20 years away, okay? So you have a lot of time between now and 40 to get that done. And so you got to break it down into the small micro habits that you do every single day to get you there. Now that's going to affect, that's good if it's retiring, right? This might be your savings. It might be bringing in more revenue. It's going to be a lot of what you don't do as much as it is what you do. So I think that's another thing, right? Is focus on what you can't do in order to pursue that dream. There are going to be a lot of things that try to distract you, and you're going to have to say no to certain things to stay on the course. But the biggest thing is you have to plan. You got to plan, and you got to break it down into bite-sized pieces. So if we're talking 20 years in the future, then you need to have a 10-year out, 5 year out, 1 year out. But then within that 1 year, you need to have a 6 month, 3 month, 1 month, what you're going to do the next day. And I recommend Atomic Habits because you can't just one day wake up and write a journal entry with your whole life plan out for 20 years and expect it to happen. Okay, maybe you've got that superpower and you'll just automatically find discipline. And if you do, awesome, good for you. But for the rest of us, it's going to be about curating the habits that help you achieve those goals. And then by achieving those goals, you end up achieving the dream. So you've got to focus on the next 5 minutes of your life. And the way you're going to spend the next 5 minutes of your life is going to have a lot to do with the way you, with what you get in the next 5 years. Okay. So that's actually a pretty good soundbite. Tell me your 5-year goal, right? Tell me what you're going to do in the next 5 minutes, and I'll tell you whether or not you're going to reach that goal. Okay. It's about getting very serious about the small pieces, how they stack up to the big goals, then how those goals stack up to ultimately achieve the dream. So, Colin, I hope that answered your question. If not, message me again, buddy, and I'm happy to work with you on it. Anybody else, I hope that brought you some clarity. The ultimate takeaway here is if you've got a big dream, you have to identify what's realistic, how far out in the future is that dream, then start working it backwards from the decades, the 5s of years, the single years, and then into months, weeks, days, even hours, and get very specific at planning out what you are going to do to work towards that goal and what you're not going to do. Things you're not going to do that might take you away from achieving those goals, which then help you achieve that dream. Ultimately, you've heard me say this phrase, and I did a whole other podcast about it. If you want to achieve your dream, you have to show up powerfully in the present moment each and every day. And by doing that, you're going to have those 1% fluctuations. You're going to get just that little bit better every single day. One day you'll be sitting on top of your mountaintop. One day you'll be sitting on top of your mountaintop. You'll have achieved that dream. And you'll look back and smile on all the goals and how they stacked up to get you there. All right, guys, that'll do it for this one. Hopefully that helps all of you pursuing a dream, wondering how you break it down the goals. If I didn't quite answer it or you want some more help, shoot me an email. My email is Myles, MYLES, @rtjmedia.com. Happy to help you on this one. And until next time, everybody, cheers.